Mike Reiss, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Patriots and also an analyst for ESPNBoston.com. Kind enough to join us here. Mike, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How would you sum up the last couple of days with the Patriots?
Wow. For the players, Dan, totally topsy-turvy. I think Saturday they get the word that Cam Newton had tested positive for COVID-19 and a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. I would say it highlights to me the human side of the game. Initially, some of the players that I had communicated with said, we're really going to go forward and play this game? Is it worth the risk of doing so? And I think as we talk right now, maybe there's been a little more acceptance among some of the players just to move forward as time has passed a little bit.
Has Cam spoken?
He hasn't. He just posted something on Instagram yesterday afternoon just saying, thank you for the love and support and that he's going to take this time to get healthy. And that's really all we've heard from Cam.
Why Brian Hoyer, not Jarrett Stidham tonight?
Terrific question. And really, after all off season, we've been talking how Jarrett Stidham had the inside track, right, to be Tom Brady's heir apparent. And let's say two things, Dan. The first thing, when Cam came in July 8th, that was like a last minute type thing. And it was sort of clear like it was going to be Cam as long as it didn't go sideways. But really, everyone thought Jarrett would be the number two. And everything changed for him the fourth day of training camp. He went to a Boston hospital for tests on his leg. And the tests came back negative. But when he was on the field for the next practice, his reps were really diminished. And it sort of went from a 3-picture quarterback snapshot to just 2. And Stidham never really developed any momentum after that and never really made a charge to sort of change the team's mind that he should be the number 2 guy. So I think the experience of Hoyer here is something they're a little more comfortable with after that sort of changed the fourth day of training camp.
And also going on the road, you'd probably want to go with veteran leadership with Hoyer. But how are the travel arrangements different for the Patriots for this game as opposed to a normal game?
Well, how about a 22-hour workday? That's basically what they're looking at. Check this out. They woke up this morning before the sun came up here in New England. They go to their facility to get tested. They board the buses and they head to 2 different airports, one in Boston, one in Providence. You get some of the players that have been in close contact, or all the players that have been deemed to be in close contact with Cam, on one plane going to one airport. And then the rest of the team on another plane at a different airport. They're going to arrive at around the same time in Kansas City later this morning. They'll have about 3 hours at a hotel in Kansas City, then head to Arrowhead Stadium for the game. Wow. Hopefully put up for them, a competitive performance, and then hop back on the plane and get back to Gillette Stadium, let's say 3, 4 in the morning Eastern time, about 22-hour workday for them. Not ideal, but something that at the players I've communicated with, they've sort of accepted this is the reality.
Was there any push by the Patriots to get this a standalone game on Tuesday?
Not that I have been able to discern in the people I've spoken with. In fact, if anything, they like the idea of playing it tonight because of the turnaround. They have a home game Sunday against the Broncos, and the idea of playing Tuesday and then getting back in the middle of the night and having that short condensed time to get ready for their next game at home, I don't think was my sense, Dan, was that wasn't viewed as an ideal scenario for them.
I know you've been covering this team for a long time, and you're there every day, but I've never heard Bill Belichick talk about a player the way he has spoken about Cam Newton, like the whole month. And I wondered if Tom Brady went a couple of years without hearing the niceties that Cam got in 1 month. What's the logic? Because there's always some kind of logic it's calculated with Bill Belichick. So why the fawning over Cam Newton?
Oh, I wish I had the answer, like a lot of things with this team, Dan, right? I will say in general, and this is probably more specific to Bill Belichick, I have personally noticed a little bit of a softening just overall this year, not just with Cam, but, everything that's gone on with COVID-19. He just lost his mother, within the last month. And I think just in general, maybe the whole virtual nature of our interactions with him, it's not as much in his face, and I think he feels maybe more comfortable in these interactions. And, if I had to say one thing, like that's probably a bunch of things, but that might be more of a factor than anything related to the whole Brady Cam comparisons. And you know what, Dan, maybe there's something to the idea that he's done some research with the people that have been around Cam in the past, and maybe, the idea of building Cam up is something he's learned from those that have coached Cam before is a good way to go.
Mike, great stuff as always. Enjoy your work on the mothership, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
That's Mike Reiss, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Patriots.